Have you ever looked at a German Shepherd? You know, that iconic image, so loyal, intelligent, strong, and just wondered, what's the real story behind those watchful eyes?
It's a great question. There's so much depth there.
Well, you're in luck today because we're doing a really illuminating deep dive. We're going to unpack the complex and fascinating world of this amazing dog.
Yeah, we've really pulled out all the stops for you on this one. We've looked at veterinary research, historical accounts,
Okay.
even those, sometimes blunt community discussions from actual owners, plus breed-specific resources. It's all in the mix.
So the goal here is to give you those essential nuggets of knowledge. We want to go beyond just the basics.
Right.
Explore their origins, which are actually pretty surprising. Unpack their incredible working skills.
Yeah.
Give you the unvarnished truth about living with them.
Day-to-day realities, yeah.
Exactly. And shine a light on the health stuff that every owner or even just an admirer really needs to be aware of.
By the end of this, you should feel genuinely well-informed.
Okay, let's get right into it then. Where do we start? History.
Absolutely. To really get the German Shepherd, you have to go back. Late 19th century Germany, and you have to meet Max von Stephanitz,
The founder.
the visionary architect, really, an ex-cavalry captain. And he wasn't satisfied with the dogs around at the time. He had this vision of the ultimate working dog.
So not just a herding dog.
More than that, he wanted intelligence, strength, responsiveness, sort of that intuitive connection. He looked at the local sheepdogs, admired them, sure, but none of them quite hit the mark for him. His standards were incredibly high.
So he's looking, searching, and then?
And then, 1899, he's at a dog show, still on this quest, and he has this, what people call a chance meeting. He sees a dog named Hector Lynxrhein,
Hector Lynxrhein.
4 years old.
Apparently, just a revelation. Striking looking, kind of wolf-like, intelligent, full of life. Just everything von Stephanitz was looking for.
Wow. So he just knew instantly. Bought him right there. Renamed him Horen von Grafrath. And Horen became the first registered German Shepherd dog. Just like that.
Amazing. So Horand is dog zero.
Pretty much. And within a month, von Stephanitz and his friend Arthur Meyer, they set up the Verein für Deutsche Schäferhunde.
The Society for German Shepherd Dogs.
Exactly. And Horen was, central to everything. They deliberately used his offspring, even inbreeding.
Which sounds a bit controversial now, maybe?
It can, but their goal wasn't looks, it was function. They wanted to fix those working traits, the intelligence, the drive, the structure. Von Stephanitz firmly believed ability came before appearance.
And that philosophy really stuck, didn't it? You can sort of see it in the dog itself.
Oh, absolutely. That focus on working ability, it's not just history, it's like etched into their physique. You look at a GSD.
That classic shape.
Yeah, longer than they are tall. And that build, it lets them hit speeds up to, 30 miles per hour. It's all designed for that explosive speed and agility they needed for herding and protection.
Makes sense. They look powerful.
They are. Medium to large size, males usually a bit bigger. That longer frame gives them endurance too. And that coat.
The double coat, thick.
Yep, medium or long. And while most people picture the tan and black or the red and black with the mask or saddle, there are other variations. Sable, pure black, even pure white, though white's a disqualification in shows. Also rarer ones like liver silver, blue, panda. But some of those, like blue and liver, are faults too. Shows how much the standards stuck to certain working ideals.
But beyond the looks, it's the intelligence, right? That's core.
Absolutely fundamental. They were literally bred for brains. That's why they learn so fast, why they can handle complex commands. They really need a job to do.
And that intelligence ties into their temperament, too.
For sure. They're moderately active, generally self-assured, eager to please, but also curious. That curiosity makes them great guard dogs, great search dogs.
But that loyalty, it has a flip side.
It can. They are incredibly loyal and protective of their family and their territory, which is wonderful, but it means early, consistent socialization is absolutely critical.
To prevent them becoming too protective.
Exactly. Or wary of strangers. They aren't naturally everyone's immediate best friend. You need to teach them the world is okay.
Okay, so if you're thinking about getting a German Shepherd, it's a big commitment. Especially energy-wise.
Huge. It's not just a quick walk around the block. These are high-energy dogs, thanks to that working background.
So what are we talking realistically for exercise?
The general guideline is at least 90 minutes a day. And that's vigorous exercise?
Not just a leisurely stroll.
Definitely not. Think running, long games of fetch, maybe hiking.
Yeah.
They need to burn off that energy. They won't be happy just lounging.
And they're good at actual dog sports too, right?
Oh, they excel. Agility, fly ball, canicross that's running with your dog pulling you slightly.
Right.
Tracking, disc dog, bike joring, obedience trials, even swimming. These things aren't just fun, they're like vital outlets for that working drive.
But there's a caution for puppies.
Yes, very important. Be careful not to over-exercise puppies. Their joints are still developing, and GSDs are prone to joint issues anyway.
So what's the rule there?
About 5 minutes of formal exercise per month of age is the usual advice. Too much, too soon can cause problems down the line.
Good to know. And seniors?
Seniors will naturally slow down, need less intense exercise. You adjust to the dog.
Okay, so physical exercise is key.
Yeah.
But you mentioned their intelligence. Mental stimulation is just as important.
Equally important, maybe even more so for some GSDs. Their brains need work. If they get bored,
Trouble.
yeah, boredom leads to problems. Destructive chewing, nuisance barking, digging, you name it. Keeping their mind active is crucial for a happy dog and, frankly, a calm house.
So how do you provide that mental workout, especially indoors?
Enrichment games are fantastic. Puzzle toys where they have to figure things out to get a treat, training sessions, learning new tricks, anything that makes them think.
And this is where something specific could help.
Absolutely. It's actually a great example of the kind of mental engagement GSDs thrive on. There's a program called Brain Training for Dogs by Adrian Ferricelli.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, it's all based on games and interactive activities. It really taps into their natural intelligence, helps improve behavior, sharpens their cognitive skills, and it's fun for them, which is key.
So it's not just obedience, it's like brain games.
Exactly. It's a fantastic way to give these really smart dogs that essential mental workout they need. We can definitely point people towards it.
Where can people find it?
You can find a link to Adrian Ferricelli's Brain Training for Dogs program right in the video description and also in the first pinned comment below. Worth checking out if you have a GSD or any intelligent breed.
Great resource. Okay, moving on. The elephant in the room, perhaps, shedding.
Yes. The German Shedder, as they're sometimes called, they have a reputation, and honestly, it's deserved.
So the stories are true.
Oh, yeah. You hear these rules sometimes, right? Like, brush daily for 5 minutes.
Keep it inside so the coat doesn't get too thick.
Maybe spaying helps females shed less. Professional grooming every few weeks.
Sounds manageable on paper. But what do actual owners say?
That's where you get the dose of blunt reality. Many owners will just tell you flat out, except the GSD confetti, it's everywhere.
Confetti, I like it.
Or they've embraced the floof. You hear about the hairy tumbleweeds rolling across the floor, and they often push back hard on those rules, keep a GSD inside all the time. Most owners say that's bad for their behavior. These dogs need to be outside, running, working their brain.
And the other rules, spaying, bathing.
Owners generally agree spaying makes zero difference to shedding, and bathing too often, like every 4-6 weeks. That can actually strip the natural oils and cause skin problems.
So what do owners recommend? What actually helps?
Frequent vacuuming is non-negotiable. Robot vacuums can be lifesavers for daily maintenance.
I bet.
Brushing them outside during breaks helps contain the fur explosion. Some people swear by shop vacs for serious cleanups or even those specialized grooming vacuums with de-shedding attachments.
So basically, invest in cleaning tools and lower your expectations.
Pretty much. Embrace the confetti, as they say. Owners also mention things like tiled floors being tricky because the hair gets in the grout and they can slip.
Yeah.
And yeah, they track in dirt. It's just part of life with the GSD.
Okay, so we've got the energy, the brains, the shedding. Let's talk health. This is a big one for the breed.
It really is. And it ties back, unfortunately, to those early breeding practices, focusing tightly on certain traits, including that inbreeding.
It had unintended consequences.
It did. It resulted in a predisposition to quite a few common health issues. Now, importantly, not every German Shepherd will get these things, but the breed as a whole is more prone to them than many others.
So what are the main concerns people should be aware of?
Joint problems are probably top of the list. Hip dysplasia is the leading issue.
Right, I've heard that.
It affects a really significant number, something like 20% based on OFA evaluations. The hip joint doesn't form correctly, which leads to pain, lameness, and eventually severe arthritis if it's not managed.
Can anything be done?
Responsible breeders screen for it. And environmental factors matter too, keeping them at a healthy weight, proper nutrition, appropriate exercise, especially during growth.
And it's not just hips?
No, elbows too. Elbow dysplasia is very similar, affecting the elbow joint. Also causes pain and lameness, affects nearly 19% in those same evils. It really highlights why good breeding and careful puppy management are so vital.
Okay, hips and elbows. What else?
Then there's degenerative myelopathy, or DM. This is a tough one. It's inherited, doesn't cause pain initially, but affects the spinal cord.
Leading to?
Progressive weakness in the hind limbs, eventually paralysis, usually shows up later in life, maybe 8 to 14 years old. And once it starts, they often lose use of their back legs within 6 to 12 months. It's heartbreaking. Affects over 14% of tested GSDs.
Wow, that's devastating.
Yeah.
Are there other bone or joint issues?
Yeah, a few others. Osteochondritis dissecans, or OCD. It's where cartilage gets diseased and separates from the bone, usually in the shoulder, and fast-growing breeds like GSDs. Often need surgery. And puppies can get panostitis. People call it growing pains. It's inflammation in the leg bones, quite painful, usually between 2 and 18 months. But the good news is it typically resolves on its own by age 2.
That's something at least.
And then there are more general things like Cauda-Equina syndrome, affecting the lower spine, and just general osteoarthritis as they age.
So lots of potential musculoskeletal problems. What about other areas? Immune system?
Allergies are really common, especially skin allergies, canine atopic dermatitis, often triggered by flea bites or food sensitivities.
What does that look like?
Itchy skin, sometimes dry, sometimes with hair loss or infections, usually affects their face, ears, paws, belly. It can make them miserable.
And cancer, is that a higher risk too?
Unfortunately, yes. They have an increased risk for certain types. Hemangiosarcoma is an aggressive one, often starting in the spleen. Osteosarcoma, bone cancer, is also more common in large, fast-growing breeds, often near the joints. And oral melanoma risk goes up in older GSDs.
Okay. What about stomach issues? I've heard about bloat in deep-chested dogs.
Yes, bloat, or GDV, gastric dilatation and volvulus, is a huge emergency risk. The stomach fills with gas and twists on itself.
Fighting off blood flow.
Exactly. It needs immediate vet surgery. It can be fatal in literally 30 to 60 minutes. The risk increases as they get older. It's terrifying.
Definitely something owners need to know the signs of.
Absolutely. Another serious gut issue is exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, EPI. The pancreas basically stops producing digestive enzymes.
So they can't digest their food.
Right. They can eat constantly but essentially starve because the nutrients aren't absorbed. A scary number of EPI cases are in German Shepherds, often showing up before age 2. It requires lifelong treatment with pancreatic enzyme supplements.
Man, that's a lot. Anything else major?
Well, they can be prone to cataracts, both inherited and age-related. Von Willebrand's disease, a bleeding disorder. GSDs mostly get a milder form. And there's a rare genetic recessive disorder causing pituitary dwarfism. There's the test for that one now.
So the takeaway isn't to panic, but to be aware and proactive.
Exactly. Know the risks, work with a good vet, do recommended health screenings, and just be really observant of your dog's health and behavior.
And all this, it impacts their lifespan.
It does contribute. The average lifespan for a German Shepherd is around 10 years, which unfortunately is often a bit lower than the average for all dogs.
It really underscores that owning a GSD is a serious commitment, health-wise too.
Absolutely. But despite all these challenges we've discussed, their popularity, their impact around the world, it's just undeniable. Why do you think that is? What keeps drawing people to them?
It has to be that versatility, right?
Yeah.
Their trainability is legendary. They can learn and follow such complex instructions. Think about police dogs.
Canine units, yeah.
Tracking suspects, patrolling, detecting drugs or explosives, often in really chaotic environments. Their focus is incredible.
And the military has used them extensively too. Scout dogs, warning dogs. I read they were even trained for parachute jumps and, incredibly, as anti-tank dogs in WWII.
Wow, that's intense.
And a huge part of that is their scent work. It's truly exceptional.
Search and rescue.
Yes, and cadaver searches, narcotics, explosives, accelerants, like in arson investigations, even landmine detection. Their noses are phenomenal tools, combined with that drive.
And they were guide dogs, too, originally.
They were prominent early on. Less common now, maybe, compared to labs or Goldens, but they still do that work. And let's not forget their original job herding sheep. That's the foundation of their working instinct.
Beyond the work, they've become such cultural figures, too.
Oh, huge icons. Think of the early movie stars, Strongheart and Rin Tin Tin.
Rin Tin Tin, yeah.
Both have stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Then you have comic book dogs like Ace the Bat Hound, TV shows like Inspector Rex that were popular worldwide.
It really shows how much they've captured the public imagination.
And some individual dogs have become famous or infamous. Blondie, Hitler's dog, tragically used to test a cyanide pill.
Grim history there.
But then heroic dogs, too. Apollo, a GSD search and rescue dog at Ground Zero after 9/11, working tirelessly. Or Cantor, this legendary police dog in Hungary back in the 50s. Just incredible stories.
And their popularity numbers reflect this, even with ups and downs.
Yeah, they really took off internationally after WWI. But then popularity dipped. Sometimes poor breeding hurt their reputation, and sadly, anti-German sentiment after the wars led to name changes like Alsatian in places like the UK.
Alsatian, right. I remember hearing that.
But they always bounce back. Their fundamental qualities just shine through. They consistently rank among the most popular breeds globally, often number 2 or 3 in the US, for example.
So wrapping this all up, we've covered a lot. From von Steffanitz's vision
To their amazing capabilities, the realities of sharing your life with one.
and those significant health considerations. It's a complex picture.
It really is.
So here's a final thought to leave you with.
Yeah.
Given this breed's incredible range, from herding dog to police partner to family guardian, their deep loyalty, but also their complex needs, what does the German Shepherd's journey tell us about our relationship with animals? About the responsibilities we take on when we shape such an intelligent, powerful companion?
That's a deep question. Definitely something to chew on.
It is. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of the German Shepherd.
It was fascinating to explore. And hey, don't forget, if you're looking for ways to engage your dog's brilliant mind, check out that link for Adrian Faricelli's Brain Training for Dogs program. It's in the video description and the first pinned comment.
Great reminder. We love sharing these deep dives with you, and we honestly can't wait to meet you for the next one.